All right. Hey, everybody. This is
Howdy.
Showdown Swap. We used to do this on the podcast, but we
Yep.
realized it was taking a lot of podcast time, and we said, um, let's do it separately, and we'll post it on the YouTube and all that
Yep.
stuff. I think it's a good move because on the show we can talk about current events a little bit
More.
more,
Yep.
and I
And it's like we have this set up in our home where
yeah
we
yeah
can do
yeah
it like this. It'll make it so we can put out more stuff
yeah.
and just be more
Um,
in the feeds and everything.
we they're still gonna be all posted to the blog and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna
Yep.
number the episodes maybe and retro go back and change the old ones to like
Yeah. That's the move.
numbered episodes, but and then we'll just have a playlist on YouTube that's separate, which is probably
Yeah.
that way it's almost a separate show, and it gets different eyes maybe.
Hmm.
Who knows?
Yep.
Um,
Super easy.
so it would have been like 2 weeks ago that we gave these matches, at least three
Yeah.
weeks probably.
No, it would have been probably longer
Yeah,
because we just did our most recent
because we
episode
did that episode and didn't do one.
and
Yeah,
then we didn't do one, so it's probably closer to a month.
right.
But that's on me. I had a family
Yeah,
emergency.
yeah, that's
Nothing you can do about it.
yeah,
Um, but either way, this is makes this funnier for me because so the match I gave you, full disclosure, is like one of the greatest matches ever, one of the most known matches ever. So unforgettable. And the match you gave me is hyper
forgettable.
forgettable.
Yeah,
Yeah, very forgettable match. You gave me Mr. Kennedy versus Hardcore Holly, No Mercy 2005.
yeah.
So let me just read through the notes I have because some of these are hilarious. And
First of all,
will
like
make you'll
hardcore
hear them and
Holly,
go, "Yep,
hardcore Holly's so hard to work with, like in general, because he's just like
oh
nobody liked
man,
him.
no." And he hated Kennedy, and Kennedy hated his guts
Yeah,
because I recently heard that there was some drama about that because Holly apparently was addicted to pills back in the day, which allegedly I don't know. I wasn't there, and this is just like I heard people talking about this. Here's the thing: guess who else was addicted to pills back then? Every single guy on the fucking
yeah,
roster.
yeah.
Um, but apparently, an incident went down where Holly had like gotten caught stealing pain pills out of Kennedy's bag or something, and so then natural everyone was wicked pissed about it.
Yeah,
And then Holly got like either released or they didn't renew his contract or something happened where he just is gone. He's blacklisted. Bye. And in his head, everybody's a stooge and he didn't do anything wrong and shit.
yeah, of course.
Meanwhile, all he's known for is being a prick fucking bully who beat the shit out of
Yeah, I
everybody
think that was one
and took
thing.
tons of
I think
liberties.
one thing I liked about watching this again was that it makes you read shit about those two. You know what I mean?
Yep. Hmm. So the first note I had was Kennedy's intro smoked me
Yeah,
when he gets on the mic and he says Kennedy, and then he pauses for a minute, and then he just for no reason goes Kennedy
yeah,
again.
yeah.
Like what?
I love
And
that.
there's that's so stupid. Holly comes out next. He's super pissed off coming out to the ring. He's already wicked
Hmm.
pissed off. He just walks down the ring. Second he gets to the ring, he's literally standing on the apron. Um, or no, Kennedy was I think on the apron, but
Yeah, I can't remember because it was a while ago. I watched it again.
either way, Holly slingshots Kennedy into the ring from the apron, and then immediately just starts stomping him out and
Yeah,
puts boots to him,
yeah,
which is like, dude, what the fuck? And it looks so stiff. Both dudes looked so obviously on
yeah,
steroids,
yeah.
jacked. Like they were
I
so
mean,
jacked,
yeah, it's
dude.
bad, and the whole match
Two
is stiff
giant
too.
guys.
Because
Soup that I have. Holly has the top five chops I've ever seen, just the stiffest chops ever, and that it was a basic, fundamental, but like underlined, extreme hard hitting match
yeah, and it's
where
not even a good.
everything
It's
they did looked like a fist fight.
yeah, and the match isn't good at all.
No, it's not good. It was clunky because it was so clearly two dudes just trying to hurt each other
Yeah,
and kicking the shit out of each other. Kennedy has a what I would consider. and this is something we can rate sometime. But I would say Kennedy has top five worst back tattoos in wrestling history.
Oh yeah.
And it's very jarring because you look at him otherwise and you go, why does that guy have a like sore thumb, fucking giant, shitty back tattoo? It's just so out of
That'd
place.
be a fun
Um,
thing to do. Just
yeah, I would like to
rating
do that.
back
Yep.
tattoos.
Shittiest tattoos on wrestlers
Yeah.
would be hilarious. I'd have to get my wife in on that because she's a tattoo artist
Oh yeah, that's
forever.
fair.
And I talk to her about it all the time. She watches wrestling with me every fucking week, and we're always looking at people's tattoos, being like, "That's trash." Um, but the ref was just some question mark ref. I didn't have a clue who he was, and he was trash and was always in the wrong spot and was always in a weird spot. Like he'd have to go for a pin, and he was not anywhere prepared in a place to just get down and pin so you don't even notice
Uh
him.
huh.
He had to like fucking come around and awkward and then pin. Now he's ready, and it was like terrible, terrible. Didn't like the roughing.
It's one of those matches where they go backstage and no one says anything to them. You know what I mean? Like they just try to
That's right.
forget the
They
match.
walked back pissed and just go to the locker room,
Yeah.
take a shower. Um, Kennedy did a nasty flip over Samoan drop off the second rope, which I'm pretty sure was the finish.
Hmm. The
Um,
no sells just killed me. Like half of the just it
half
was
of the shit they did
completely
to each
out
other,
of
they just
sync and just not. It was none of it was connected. I
yeah,
thought it was fucking
yeah.
hilarious.
It was an awkward match to
Yeah,
say the
it
least.
was.
But I did like that flip over Samoan drop. I thought that was cool, and I'm pretty sure that was his finisher, right? Like the Green Bay plunge or some bullshit,
Yeah.
whatever he called it, something like that. Um,
Yeah,
what did he
he's
call it?
from Green Bay.
Green Bay plunge.
He's
It was
from
a Green
Green
Bay
Bay, isn't
plunge.
he?
Yeah.
Kennedy
Yep.
is.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. And then he got on the mic and did the Kennedy again
It's godly. I love
after
that.
winning. It is godly. Um, yeah. I said in conclusion, looked like both dudes got their asses whipped. And then and then this is when it really got good. That Sylvain Grenier or whatever his name is runs to the
Yeah.
ring for no reason and jumps Holly and does some super weird looking like brainbuster DDT
Hmm.
to him, like on the outside, and then screams. Sylvan Kanye screams, and my note is Sylvan screams
That,
-9999 aura. That's what
yeah,
I
dude.
wrote. So like
That when
he
he
let out some scream that just cooked
when he
any
came out,
amount
I
of
was like, I can't
intimidation
even.
he had.
I don't even understand what it had to do with anything. I don't remember, but that was
Yep.
hilarious that it
And
just.
then and then just the perfect image of that time in wrestling was on this, and I watched the pay-per-view to watch this match, right? I watched the
Yeah,
actual
yeah. I
pay-per-view
watched a bunch of
broadcast.
it.
The out of nowhere from Sylvain Grenier screaming super weird, and it just was super cringy and hilarious and ruined his aura. It just hard quick cuts to Lashley in the back with Simon Dean forcing Simon Dean to power eat some huge overloaded tray that looked like super gross
Oh my
dog shit
god, I didn't
fucking
even watch
food.
that far.
And I saw that and was just noted why.
That
And
was
then I
after.
just
That
turned
was
it
after
off.
the match.
Immediately after the match, yep, immediately after the match in that, it cuts to Simon Dean eating wicked gross food, and he like pulls hair out of his mouth,
I think
and I was just like, what is this even supposed to
I
be?
like skipped around on it and watched a couple other matches,
Yeah.
but I didn't watch
So
like the fucking
all in all,
backstage.
I'm glad you gave me that one because it was
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's such a random
Uh,
match too.
the match I gave you, I didn't even have to watch because it. I mean, have had it, brother.
Yeah, yeah,
I can't wait to hear it.
yeah. It's one that like we've seen. Both of us have seen probably a million times, but
If not more, yeah.
we've never talked about the match.
Somehow, yep.
Yeah, and I mean it's really like you've said it before. It feels like it's the Attitude Era coming to a head. It's sort
Yeah.
of the
I
culmination.
I I genuinely think that this single night of WrestleMania 17 is like the centerpiece single night
Yeah,
of the Attitude Era. Like it is the if you're going to show somebody what the Attitude Era was at its best and at its
it's a good
absolute
example of it.
like apex, you show them that single pay-per-view.
Yeah,
In my opinion, I
yeah.
think it was the perfect pay-per-view of that entire era, dude.
I
That
can't
card
hear.
is one of
Uh,
the craziest cards ever.
yeah. Oh yeah, it is. I mean, I can't hear Limp Bizkit's "My Way" without thinking about
And
this.
now I only think about the dude. The so the video package build up. So the match I gave you is Stone Cold versus Rock.
Right.
Main event. It's Stone Cold Rock 2 at 17. They did 15, 17, and 19 together, which is insane in its own. 19 was, I believe, Austin's retirement.
Hmm.
Was The Rock at Mania 19. Um, but the video package build up to this match, in my opinion, is the greatest single video package build up in wrestling
It's
history.
definitely up there if it's not
Yeah.
number one.
If it's not number one, it's
I
top
don't know how
five.
it couldn't be, because if
Inarguable.
it wasn't our number one, I would be able to think of what number one is. I
That's
can't
what I'm
really think
saying.
of what would
There's
compete with that.
so few. I my personal favorites I could get into, but we'll save that
Yeah.
for another conversation. But this is one of them.
Yep.
It's just it's
I
perfect.
thought it was cool that they like added no DQ to the match,
Yeah. Yep.
like right
Yep.
before, because like that's something you'd like usually you'd want to build that, and
Yeah.
have it be like another hype thing, but it's like you don't need more hype for this match.
No need to do shit. Are you kidding me? Austin Rock 2.
Yeah,
And when did this take place? 2001 or 2000?
it's the early
It
very
was
early
2001, right?
2000s. Yeah, something like that.
It was April 1st, 2001.
Okay.
Yep. 67,900 in the Astrodome. That's so bonkers, dude. Yeah,
Um,
this was
one
crazy.
thing, one thing
What a
you,
great
one
match,
thing you
too.
notice too is like, and I think I've talked about it before, is you get camera flashes from the crowd, and
Oh, I
it
mean,
is
dude, when
completely,
Stone Cold
it's a
Steve Austin
different
goes
vibe.
up and he does the fingers on the turnbuckle,
Yeah,
they have a hard cam shot of Austin on the turnbuckles, giving the fingers, and his back is to the camera, and you can barely see him
yeah,
because every single person, it's, I guess you would say maybe 40% of the crowd is in view on camera.
yeah. And
So
in 2001,
67,000
or
people, it's like somewhere around 30,000 people all doing flash camera
yeah,
at the same time.
in
It's
2001
ridiculous.
they were digital cameras, right?
So everybody had
So
flash
no
up.
one's using those like little disposable ones or
Nope.
whatever.
I mean, maybe some people did, but those
those
had flash.
those digital ones are hilarious. They were such a nightmare to get pictures off of. You gotta like plug
Yeah,
a
they're this
USB
big.
in and all this shit.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Stace still has one. My wife, she still has her OG little tiny digital camera that you plug into the computer.
Man,
Yeah,
I
and
had
it's
one, and
sick.
I would like record video with it, and it would just go
Yep.
in the background the entire time. They were just not meant for video. It was,
No, no, not at all.
and then there's
Terrible,
240p
terrible
or whatever.
resolution. Yeah, yeah, 144p video.
But you know,
Oh,
everybody had those back then, and that's what was like.
yeah,
It
yep,
changes the atmosphere of the show, because
absolutely.
you like when there's big moments, that's when the camera flashes go off, and it's really cool to see,
Yep.
because you just don't see that now. I think a lot of kids probably
No.
don't even know what the fuck's happening, 'cause they don't.
And if you showed that to your kids, they'd be like,
Why is there?
"What?
Yeah,
Why is there so much flashing? What is that?" And you'd be like, "That is what cameras used to do."
yeah, yeah.
And like now, the
Cameras.
light sensors on lenses are so good. Half the time you take a picture, it doesn't even need to have
Yeah,
flash on it.
yeah. There's never even cameras aren't even barely a thing anymore, unless it's a
Yeah,
video
only
camera.
on your phone. On your phone, people take pictures with that.
Yeah.
And professional like
Austin comes out
DSLRs, but
super hot in this. Austin came out pretty hot, and
mhm,
fuck. Well, he didn't take his time with his entrance. He came out.
he came right out.
There was, so they were both definitely hyped up for this match. Obviously, the early
Yeah,
on swinging neck breaker was like a little out of sync. You saw that, like,
sure.
I don't remember if it was who was delivering it, but you know, you could tell it was a little bit off. Somebody went down a little
You
early.
could tell they were really feeling the energy
Yeah,
and had to have
it was
like a
adrenaline.
wake up moment for both of them at first to go, hey, 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 let's slow
Yeah.
down a bit. Yeah.
Um,
because they were fired. Dude, how do you not be? They must have walked through there and been like, oh
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
and yeah, especially with the crowd, and I mean that was just.
And that's easily the single biggest moment of both of their
Hmm.
careers, in my opinion. I think that is the single biggest night of both their careers. And I think the only other night you could argue for either of them would be, maybe WrestleMania 19 for Stone Cold because it was his retirement match, also against Rock in a huge arena at
Yeah.
WrestleMania. But then for The Rock, you could argue 18 against Hogan
I
is
still would
just,
say this is
but
this is bigger.
I think 17 is bigger personally. But that Hogan match is crazy.
At the time, they might have thought it was the Hogan match, but I think this is like when you go back and look, it's
Yeah.
like yeah, this is
If
the
you look at the industry with hindsight, I think this is the bigger
yeah.
match personally. Yeah.
They go out of the ring pretty quickly, and it just becomes a brawl basically for a while.
Yep.
Austin Austin hits him with the ring bell, and then he and then he throws a production guy.
Yep. He just ragdolls the production.
Yeah, and then he's talking shit with Hebner, which Earl Hebner
Yep.
is a big deal, dude. That guy, he's fucking legend. Do they go into the Hall of Fame?
He's
Do
one of the
refs
greatest
do refs
refs.
go into the Hall of Fame?
If they do, I don't know if he ever will because I think there's some controversy behind why he left WWE in the first place, and I
Mm,
don't remember
I
what
don't
it
remember that
was.
either,
But man, who deserves it more than Earl
but yeah,
Hebner?
I don't know if they
You
put
know what I mean?
refs in the Hall of Fame.
He's a ref.
Charles Robinson
There
will
is
go in.
one. Yeah, he has to. Duh, Little Nate has to. He's a guy you could discuss as one of the greatest refs of all time, Charles Robinson. But I know Tim White, right? He was a ref. He went in,
Okay, yeah,
but I think it was after he passed away, though. Unfortunately, that's lame.
yeah, that
But
sucks.
um, but yeah, I think he went in. There should be more. You should have
I
Earl
think
in
so.
there, no question. You should have Charles Robinson in there. You should have Mike Chioda in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, basically Austin carries the momentum for most of like the early going.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
Rock hits a clothesline, uses the ring bell himself, and then Rock's hitting him with punches. Doing his signature thing there.
Hmm.
Um, and then Austin like kind of oversells it. He's like bouncing off every fucking rope like fucking 6 times or whatever.
I
And
love that shit though. It's so
the
funny.
commentary
And
teams,
they're doing it to each other
yeah,
too.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
and the commentary teams are like they're like sitting at the announce table, and the table's already destroyed, like it's in pieces. They're all just
dude,
sitting there. I fucking love that.
is it the TLC match
I think the
where
match
there's
before it
just
was
a
something like
ridiculous?
that.
Oh, Taker Triple H was before it. That
Oh
match
yeah,
was awesome.
yeah, that was a
That
great
match
match
is,
too.
dude. This
That was a
man,
brawl too.
I don't even want to get into how are you kidding me this pay per view
Yeah,
was. We'll get too distracted. But yeah, the table got taken out
yeah.
before the match,
I think it's funny watching
big
the
time.
commentators sitting at just a broken table, and it's just
Just
rubble.
sitting in
Like,
chairs. Yeah,
um,
I love that so much,
The
dude.
Rock puts the sharpshooter on Austin. Austin
Hmm.
I mean, is there like so Austin's been in the most iconic sharpshooters ever. I
Ever,
would say
ever. I would say the number one is like ever
Bret Hart.
is 13 with Brett,
Yeah,
right? It wasn't that WrestleMania 13.
yeah, it was.
Pretty sure, yeah.
That sounds
Austin
right.
and Brett, the I Quit match where
Hmm.
he's covered in blood. That was like a career making thing for him, man.
Yeah,
One of many, but that was one of them.
yeah. It's like I think he's been in some of the most like iconic submissions. He has a good struggle face. You know what I mean?
Yep,
And
he's
the big
just
thing is he's believable. Like his character is believable. So you're like he's
yeah,
not gonna tap. You know what I mean?
yep,
It's that like believability that adds to the suspense of the submission move.
absolutely, absolutely.
So he has the sharpshooter. The Rock hits a stunner, right? And then Vince
Oh
shows
yeah,
up,
for sure. Hmm.
and Vince comes out, and then this like completely
Hmm.
changes the vibe here because what
Badly.
happens? I don't know how this was completely unexpected, obviously at the time.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
And it's an interesting way to
So
to win a huge match like this.
so Stone Cold demanded it. Apparently, he was
He
sick of being a good guy. He was burned out, and he likes being a heel more,
mm,
and he wanted to be a heel. And
well, his
I've heard
character's
Jim
tough.
Ross talk about it, and yeah, but
It's always
I've heard
his
Jim
character
say
almost is a
like,
heel anyway. Like
yeah, yep. And so I remember hearing Jim Ross talk about it one time and say like Austin wanted to turn and we were begging him not to
mhm.
because look at how the crowd reacted. It was clearly a mistake.
Yeah,
It was too early to turn him. But Jim, the way he put it's perfect. What had he not given us up to that point for us to have the right to tell him no,
yeah,
you know?
exactly, right.
And it's like when that guy at that level is telling you, "I'm done. I'm begging you to let me turn heel." It's they just went, "Okay,
Hmm.
yeah, you've earned it."
And
And
they
it
did it
was
well
not
too.
fast for business.
They did it well
They
too
did it
because
well.
Rock hits the people's elbow, I think, and then McMahon pulls the Rock off the cover
Yes.
from the outside, and
I'm
that
pretty sure that's what happens,
the
yeah.
crowd fucking explodes.
And then McMahon gives Austin a chair at some point, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure, that he uses to attack Rock.
yep. And
And
then
by that
Austin hits
point,
a
the
rock
crowd is
bottom and all this shit. They were
livid.
kind of trading finishers.
Hmm.
Um,
But here's the thing I want to say real quick, too, about the turn. The thing, people look back on that heel turn from Austin, and it's generally considered to be a big mistake, right? It was not best for business. It hurt his merch sales, all this stuff, right? But in hindsight, how do we get to the heel Austin run he had as a lackey for Vince with Kurt Angle without it?
right.
Because
Well,
that's
yeah,
some of the most entertaining stuff Austin ever did, dude.
yeah. You get that
That
out of it
stuff
for
was
sure.
so good. So it's not like they got completely fucked over on it.
Yeah, you don't get
But
nothing out of it. Well, it
yeah,
was
they
impossible for
just
them to get nothing out of it. It's Austin.
mhm, mhm. It's
Um,
just they think they could have gotten another year at least out of him as the top guy. It's
yeah,
like, but you had Rock, and you did because look at you got another Mania main event out of it that sold huge.
yeah,
So it's like it wasn't the end all be all, you know.
yeah. Well, so he does
But
use a chair. So McMahon, I don't know
yes,
if
yeah,
yeah, McMahon hits him with a chair, and then
yeah,
uh, the Rock still kicks out,
yeah,
kicks out at
which
two,
I loved.
and then
I loved.
I think so Austin hits another stunner. I think then there's another 2 count. So Rock's showing like resilience. He's like, I still got this,
Yep.
and then Austin just goes to town with the chair, and that gets him
Yeah.
to 3.
That's it. Yep.
Uh,
I thought like and that's what I was saying earlier is like in hindsight, yeah, it ended up going in a way where they got good stuff out of it. But in the moment, the crowd was very clearly
yeah,
pissed off at
yeah,
Stone Cold turning. However, they did a real, like you said earlier, they did a great job with the turn. I thought it was executed perfectly. Um, Austin siding with McMahon just felt like
it's the
no
only way to
way.
turn him.
This can't be happening,
Yeah,
and that's why it was so
that
perfect
was the
because
only
it
way
was
to
like,
turn him heel. Is
how,
you can't.
I think so.
Yeah, you're signing the deal with the devil. You know what I mean?
That's what it was. He signed a deal with the devil,
Yeah,
and he joined the devil and turned on the fans, turned on everybody, and The Rock got over so strong in defeat in the process.
right.
And not that he necessarily needed it, but it doesn't mean he didn't still
And
get it.
it's the
You know
last
what I
thing
mean?
that people expect, right? Because it's like
Hmm.
you don't. He's been his arch nemesis, Austin and McMahon. They've been arch
Yep.
enemies for
That's
always.
what really made him.
Yeah.
That's what made him right after he broke his neck is when he kind of started the feud with Mr. McMahon that ended up being the biggest centerpiece story of that era,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. It was. It
Yep.
was. I mean, it's like I've seen it so many times, but like, the,
It's always
sometimes when
cool.
we do
Every
these,
time I watch it, I miss stuff.
yeah. Well, when we do these, it makes you focus on what's happening in the ring more, right? So even if you've
Yes.
seen it before,
Yes.
you still like now you want to break it down more, and especially with like the perspective we have now, because like we've,
Yes.
I think we're more analytical in our approach
We're
to
more aware.
yeah,
We're more
yeah.
aware of what we're seeing than we've ever been.
Right, especially
And
when that
that's,
happened. It's like that was
yeah.
'01, and it's
I
like
was a kid.
right,
Yeah, I was 13 when I saw that.
right.
There was just no chance. You know what I
No, I
mean?
thought it was real. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I did. I definitely didn't think it was real at that point, but I definitely still didn't know. Like, no, none of us did. As fans, you just didn't have access to the knowledge yet.
Yeah,
Now, graciously, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, how, like, we're not in the business. And we will never claim to be, and I will never claim that I'm some expert on wrestling compared to anybody in the business. All of my knowledge and expertise comes from one, following it my entire life, and two, the all of the wrestlers and the behind the scenes people and the commentators and all the people that are in the business who have graciously given and taught so much about the business, especially in recent times,
yeah,
and so because we've digested so much of that, because we love wrestling, we love pro wrestling, we've been watching it since we were kids, so it's something I'm always hungry to learn more about the
yeah.
business and
And I
everything going on.
that's what I mean.
So going back and watching exactly. So like going back and watching matches from when we were a kid and we didn't know any of that
Yeah,
changes my perspective on those matches greatly.
yeah. Just
And
the
this match is
accumulation of
definitely one of
knowledge
them.
that we've
Yeah,
just
yep,
knowing what actually happens in the ring for the most part. We got a
yep.
much better idea.
Understand it better, yeah.
Yeah,
And so, and in hindsight, from how much backstage information's been released about the event and about those guys and all that stuff, it's cool watching it, knowing that stuff now
yeah.
too.
And that's
So.
why I don't mind. Like if on this show, I don't mind um, watching matches we've already seen. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
not
same.
it's
I
not
don't
an
mind
issue.
watching a match I've seen a million times.
Right.
Yeah,
Um,
it's cool.
so yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's our showdown swap for this week. Um,
Yeah, I don't know.
what do
Like,
you?
I don't know what we're gonna do as far as like if we're gonna try to do it every with every episode, or if we're gonna do this on our own schedules, or what's going
Yeah,
on. But
and I don't know. Like I don't have a match off the top of my head to give you right now. I didn't think of it because I wasn't sure if we were going to be doing that in the episodes
let me
or
see if I
if
can.
we're going to just post them. You know what I mean?
I'll give it. I'll give it to you now anyway,
Okay.
because I do
Well, I'll
have it.
find one then. Because I also have a list, so I'll look mine up and I'll give you one.
Okay, yeah, I actually have.
Um,
I I'm gonna post a bonus match with this one too, because I have two that I wanna. They're similar matches.
okay.
Um, and it was hard for me to decide between the two. And I think I'm actually going to switch it up, to be honest with you. I'll pull up the blog real quick
Hmm.
because I have a draft of the actual. So it's Lucha Underground again.
Sick. Okay. What do you got for me?
Um, so there's two matches. One of them's a bonus. You don't really have to watch it, but I think you'd probably want to. Um,
Okay.
this is Lucha Underground season 3. So it's Pentagon versus Hito Kiri, who is Io Sky now.
Oh,
So
I like the
with the
sound of that.
intergender matches that they did, it was pretty cool. And then in the
Okay.
same vein, I was like, well, he also had a match with someone else who's in WWE now,
Hmm.
which is season 4. Pentagon versus Reclusa, who is now known as Chelsea Green.
Oh, okay.
So kind of
That's
cool.
cool. Yeah, I'm excited for
So
that.
we'll do. So I'll say the match will be the Io Sky Penta. It's basically Io Sky Penta, which is crazy. To even
Yep. Hell yeah.
that's like a crazy. Like it's basically a 2K25 match.
The match I was gonna give you.
I forgot that Chelsea Green was ever in Lucha Underground.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She was in as what was her name again?
Reclusa. She put. I
Mm,
don't know what her indie name was, But usually with lucha, they would theme their names to be, in that vein or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's right. That's right.
Like Penta is
Um,
Pentagon Dark, which there was a couple iterations of Pentagon in Lucha Underground from what I remember. But yeah, that'd be cool to watch because like it's I just like the idea that they're both in WWE now. And intergender thing is not really something. It's not something you see in WWE, obviously. What I'll do is post this blog when we post this video here.
mhm. So the match I wanted to give you is Kenta Kobashi versus Mitsuharu Misawa.
Okay,
I'm trying to find. I didn't note the match for some reason, so I'm trying to find.
like a video.
Um, I'm trying to find what match it was.
Okay.
Like what actual event rather.
All right. Well, we can find
Um,
it, and then we'll just end
yeah,
this.
I'll find it. Either way, it's an early 2000s Mitsuharu Misawa versus Kenta Kobashi match, and you will see Burning Hammer in
Yeah. Yeah.
it, which is Kenta's like mega finisher.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, that match is insane. You're gonna love it, and I'll figure out the exact event so we can post it on the blog. But yeah, that I was like, I got to give him one where Kenta actually does a Burning Hammer
Yeah. Yeah. That's
because
fair.
that's where we got the name of the show from.
All right. Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
definitely never seen
So
it, and
that'll
I
be
know
cool.
you've never seen these, so
Oh, I've definitely never seen those, and I'm excited. And I did know about Io Sky being
yeah.
uh in
Lucha.
Lucha. Yep, and same with Chelsea Green, but I hadn't seen anything with him.
Yeah.
I also did know because of what you showed me that Lucha has had mixed gender stuff going on because of that one match that you had me watch
Yeah. Yeah.
with that poor girl getting stomped out and hit with
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like yeah,
That
getting
was
her ass whipped, dude. That was so funny.
oh shit, what the hell's her name? Shit. I don't remember. She was pretty good though. I don't know
She
what
is
she's
good,
doing
yeah,
now,
yeah.
but
She was good, and that match was crazy too. That was the match with the wicked crazy run off the top of the office, jump
yeah,
splash thing to the ring.
that was a trios. That was the trios
Yes,
title,
it was a
first
trios
trios
match
title.
for sure. Yep, yep, absolutely. But yeah,
All right,
cool. Sounds good, man.
all right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Well, we'll see you next time we do this or on the podcast.
Peace. Yep.